put it up. Boy, we gotta move those happy feet. To the big, here we go. All of the girls, them dance. Get ready to be dance. Bring it up and dance. Girl, rock out and dance. Just dance. Swing it. Girls, wind down low and bring it. Mr. DJ, turn it up, spin it. I make the girls, them dance and sing it. You see the girls, them marshal one win it. And if it can't punch, him have a rim it. And just see how the way she a flip it. And when she wind down low and dip it, when she a grip it. I know I've done so many wrong things in the past.
Kaieteur Radio.
Still what we have is everlasting.
Kaieteur Radio.
I don't wanna bring.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good evening to you. Welcome to this evening's newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Without further ado, let's get to the news in detail. Minister of Legal Affairs and Attorney General Anil Nandlal, during a recent interview, stated that the production sharing agreement that Ghana signed with ExxonMobil is one of the most lopsided agreements signed in the country's history. To this end, the AG noted that the lopsided contract must be a mistake that Ghana learns from when going forward with signing future oil and gas agreements. Minister Nandlal made those statements during an interview recently. When questioned on why on the Exxon-Ghana agreement, which has been highly criticized, the AG first upheld his position that that deal is one of the most lopsided ones ever signed in the country's history, and noted that he has never retracted from that position, nor does he intend to. He also expressed his dissatisfaction that one of the most important agreements in the history of Guyana was signed in secrecy by the previous government, and not even the then opposition, which was the PPP, was informed of what was being done. In other news, popularly known businessman and alleged smuggler Harilal Motilal, called Jinga, that should be Jinga Hari, has been identified as the prime suspect behind the recent shooting of two enforcement officers attached to GRA. Last Thursday night, the two customs officers were shot to their face and abdomen during a joint anti-smuggling operation with members of the Ghana Police Force in Mahaika. Reliable sources yesterday confirmed that the businessman is yet to be arrested. Meanwhile, on Thursday, a team of GRA's Law Enforcement and Investigation Division officers and policemen went into the Mahaika location to intercept a boat after receiving information that it is suspected to be carrying uncustomed goods into the Mahaika River. And moving on. Following revelations 2 months ago by Trinidad and Tobago's Energy Minister Stuart Young that his predecessor, Kevin Ramnarine, along with other former government officials, left the country's gas industry mere inches away from death's door with a lopsided deal and accompanying policy, Ramnarine has come forward to set the record straight. The ex-minister is of the firm conviction that the project, despite all criticisms, has resulted in jobs for the people of Trinidad and Tobago and will soon lead to positive cash flow as it was executed with key Japanese firms. It should be noted that Caribbean Gas Chemical Limited is a joint venture that includes Japanese companies, Mitsubishi Gas Chemical Company, Mitsubishi Corporation, and Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. And now let's tell you, a Bartica man allegedly went berserk after he took an illegal substance. According to a video seen, the man went into a fit of madness and started jumping on several vehicles. He even destroyed the windshield of one of the vehicles in Bartica. As the man continued to smash the vehicles, passers-by watched on while a police vehicle was seen heading at the scene. He was subsequently arrested and taken into custody. Investigations are ongoing. And moving on, with the accelerated pace of development from the oil and gas sector fueling an increased demand for aggregates, a local businessman has kick-started plans to benefit from the lucrative opportunities that abound. If approved, Pradeep Abdul, the CEO of Patara Gold Mining Company and the owner of Winnipiru Quarry, is set to invest more than $3 million to develop a modern large-scale quarry to meet the existing and projected demand for aggregates and boulders. While the project is expected to provide permanent employment for 50 to 66 Guyanese, it was noted that through the project's capital investment and the initial life of 5 years, the estimated annual turnover would be in excess of $2.9 million or 605 million Guyana dollars. And to wrap things up this evening, let's tell you that in the government's updated COVID-19 emergency measures published on Saturday, vaccination is now mandatory for any person who wishes to enter a public building. This updated regulation, which took effect from Saturday and will last up to September 30th, explains that it is any building to which the public has lawful access and shall include both publicly and privately owned buildings, including all institutions of learning. It is understood that this includes places such as private hospitals, banks, stores, private schools, and places of worship. The new guidelines further stipulate that if an unvaccinated person wants to access these buildings, they are required to make an appointment or submit a negative PCR test, which was taken within 7 days of the appointment. And with that, we've come to the end of this evening's newscast. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening. Coming up next, a short presentation from the publisher of the Kaieteur News, Mr. Glenn Lal, followed by the National Outlook with GHK Lal, and at 19 hours 20, The Glenn Lal Show. Tell it as it is.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Brothers and sisters of this beautiful country called Guyana, please listen to me carefully. Local content means Guyana must benefit first and foremost from every section of this oil sector. Wake up quickly. Please don't allow this country to become like Trinidad, African and Asian countries. Trinidad, after 100 years in the oil and gas business, is now sitting with a $22 million debt. The African and Asian countries going through worse than Trinidad with bigger debts on their backs. That tells a story, brothers and sisters. It tells us that they did not manage their affairs, their oil sector successfully. They made terrible mistakes, resulting in hundreds of millions of their people living in extreme poverty and starvation. I have begun seeing Guyana heading in that same direction with our oil. Brothers and sisters, let me be clear. Beside royalties and profit sharing, local content plays a significant role in our economy and our livelihoods. Huge money is there for our people and our country to benefit from. We have reported how the oil companies importing drinking water, paying huge sums when they should have been buying local water from places like banks DIH and DDL so that our local companies can benefit. I don't know if they are still doing that. I am told they are importing foodstuff in the millions, which they can pick up right here in Guyana, but they are not. That is also money. Our people